Hello and welcome once again, my friends, to Straight Bat, my weekly video blog where, as the title suggests, I comment with a straight bat. At the very outset today, I want to ask you a very simple question. Is this man you are seeing on the screen at the moment a terrorist? Do you recognize him? No, he's not Dawood Ibrahim, Tiger Memon, Hafiz Saeed, all those terrorists, India's most wanted, who are conveniently in a haven in Pakistan. He's not even Mehul Choksi, the fugitive, or Mehul Bhai, or Nirav Modi, the jeweler, or Nirav Bhai, who've run away from the law and are living in Caribbean islands or escaped to London, even though till not too long ago they were dining on the high table as VVIPs. No, my friends, this individual doesn't enjoy the luxury of living in the Caribbean or getting the hospitality of the Pakistani ISI. But he's a terrorist who is lodged presently in Taloja jail near Pune, or he's accused of being a terrorist. His father stands Swamy, an 84-year-old priest who is accused in the Bhima Koregaon case and was arrested under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, or UAPA, in October last year, and since then has been in jail, or since then till the last week, because in the last week Father Swamy, who already suffers from Parkinson's, was tested and found to be COVID positive and has now been moved to the Holy Family Hospital for 2 weeks. That's right, all of 2 weeks. Now remember, the UAPA is a very tough law. Very difficult to get bail under it. The other accused in the Bhima Koregaon case include the likes of Sudha Bhardwaj, a leading activist, trade union lawyer and intellectual who has spent most of her life working among the tribals of Chhattisgarh. She could have enjoyed all the comforts of urban life. She had a wonderful education, had the world before her, chose instead to live and fight for the rights of tribals. She too is accused of being part of this grand plot of Bhima Koregaon. Let me tell you, the evidence in this case is very scanty. And it's not me saying that. There are now credible global reports that show that the computer files have been doctored and planted on the accused. I'm not going to go into the merits of the case because the matter is being heard by judges, and I do hope that the judges go into the merits of the Bhima Koregaon case. But I will speak for Father Stan, who this week was moved to a hospital after having spent the last several months in jail. As I said, he's 84 years old. He suffers from Parkinson's. He can barely move. He cannot even eat without help at the moment. Here is someone who last year had to wait for weeks in jail for a straw sipper. He wanted a straw sipper. The jail authorities refused it. It took almost a month. Think about the criminal justice system in this country. If you are a VVIP, if you are a politician or a high profile industrialist who suddenly gets arrested and finds himself or herself in jail, you'll probably the very next day be moved to a comfortable hospital bed or instead be taken to a guest house in comfort. But Father Stan Swamy will be denied even a straw sipper because, as I said, he's a terrorist according to the government. He's someone who's an enemy of the state according to the government. Why is Father Stan being treated in this manner? I'll tell you why. First, having spent a lifetime amongst the tribal communities where Father Stan Swamy is working, particularly in Jharkhand, it is very easy, and it is the tragedy of today's political discourse, that the moment you work among the poorest of the poor in India's Adivasi communities, you get branded a Maoist. In fact, on primetime television, if you fight for the human rights of tribals, you are demonized as an urban Naxal. This is the name calling that takes place around us at the moment. And in that toxic discourse, Father Stan Swamy, because he works among the tribals, gets branded a Maoist. Ideology surely isn't a crime. Father Stan, some say, is a leftist. He may be. I see him as a humanist, neither left nor right, working among the poor. Even the Jharkhand Chief Minister and government have lauded the work that Father Stan Swamy has done in getting land rights for tribals. But no, for the government of India, he is a terrorist who must remain in jail under UAPA. Father Stan Swamy also suffers from another form of terrifying demonization in today's India. He is a Catholic priest from the Jesuit order. Now, in the toxic, divisive universe of name calling that we live in, a Jesuit priest working among tribals is not just a Maoist. He is also guilty and must be punished for alleged conversion of tribal communities. For the Hindutva ideologues and their stormtroopers in particular, a Catholic priest today is an enemy. He is seen as someone who must be taught a lesson for religious conversion or alleged religious conversion. Remember Graham Staines and how he, along with his two sons, was burnt to death in Odisha's Kandhamal district in 1999? The convict was a certain Bajrang Dal activist called Dara Singh. Today, my friends, the Dara Singhs of the world have a license to kill because they get their power from the political system. Now, if you can't burn someone to death, well, the next best thing is brand them anti-national and throw them in jail. You know, I want to make one thing clear when I say all of this. I don't know Father Stan personally, but I do know a number of people who know him well. You see, like many urban, educated, elite Indians, I too went to a Jesuit school. Some of the finest institutions in this country have been built by Jesuits, and I was privileged to be taught by them. They've known Father Stan and his work, the scholarly work that he has done for years before he went into the forest to work and fight for land rights in a non-violent, and I emphasize the word, in a non-violent constitutional manner. As one of them told me, Rajdeep, you will never meet a more soft-spoken man, someone who doesn't have a single violent bone in his body. Is someone like this going to be treated a terrorist, they asked me. To be honest, I had no immediate answer because we live in a world where truth, my friends, is a casualty, where a propaganda machine is created that brands people who question the state as enemies and anti-national. As I said, the Jesuit order has built some of India's finest education institutes. Some of India's finest citizens have come out of these schools. They include IPS officers. They include politicians, including ministers in the current government. But none of them will speak up today for Father Stan Swamy, perhaps out of fear or perhaps because it is inconvenient to speak the truth in the times in which we live in. Which is why all one can do today is to appeal to the conscience of every right-thinking citizen out there. Please ask yourself, is an 84-year-old who has spent a lifetime working among the Adivasis to be treated as a terrorist and thrown in jail and be denied bail and now be put in a hospital because he is also COVID positive? Does he not deserve better? Truth is, my friends, and this is why Father Stan Swamy's case is important. Because if someone like him today is going to be branded as a terrorist, or a Sudha Bhardwaj for that matter, why will anyone in the future stand up for the Adivasis and tribal rights and their land and forest rights? I want to leave you today with a poem, a few lines from a poem that Father Stan has written while in prison. Light overpowering darkness, hope replacing despair, love winning over hate, is the message of Jesus risen. But fight we will till the end, not so much just to save our skin, but to speak truth to power. Counting all the while, you all are with us, in mind and in heart. Amen. I want to leave you then with the thoughts of Father Stan Swamy and ask the question I asked at the very outset. Is this man a terrorist? Think about it. That was the Straight Bat. And you can of course subscribe to my YouTube channel for many more such videos. For now, stay well, stay safe. Namaskar. Jai Hind.